What is up, you guys? I hope you're doing well. We're here for our weekly energy oracle message for the week. This is going to be our look ahead to see what kind of spiritual and energetic weather we will be living and moving and having our being in. I'm usually at work on Sunday, but today was my sister-in-law's 40th birthday. So we had the most beautiful party out at my mom and them's house in the backyard. We have my mom has got a very Southern Gothic yard. She was big into landscaping in our childhood, so she built like a stone wall, and we have an old iron bell, and it's very like Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil aesthetic as far as that goes. But yeah, so we were out there, and her sister set up, she built this huge long dinner table that she covered and decorated for fall with like black candlesticks and black and white pumpkins and all the cute, beautiful like layouts. And we had a beautiful meal, like all kinds of charcuterie and tortellini and caprese and pizza. Yummy. It was really good pizza. And I accidentally forgot and drank a Coca-Cola. I love Coca-Cola. I've been trying to abstain from Coca-Cola because they are complicit in the so we are kind of not drinking Coca-Cola anymore. Oh, so sad. So I accidentally forgot and drank a Coca-Cola, and I wish I could take it back. It's too late now. It was good. Sorry. But I'll cherish that memory forever. Okay, so before I turned on the record button, I got the expand card, not expanse card, expand card came out. And I love that. I heard Woody Allen immediately say, the universe is expanding. And he's all like having an existential crisis because the universe just keeps expanding until eventually it's going to be like dough that we keep spreading out. It's going to start breaking apart. But we have a while to go before our souls expand to the point of being absorbed back into the all. Yeah, we actually talked about that in the last couple of weeks too. In the Secret Teachings of Jesus episodes, which are Saturday night, we've been recently starting the Gospel of Mary. So over the last year and a half, we've been doing the Gospel of Philip portion by portion, and now we've begun the Gospel of Mary. So I've really been loving, all 4 episodes have been really great. There's a 2-part introduction where we cover like the archaeological significance of the gospel, and then we cover the like social kind of implications of the gospel and how its presence and its absence have affected Christianity in the direction that it took from its ancient origins. So that was cool. And then portion 1 of Gospel of Mary is dealing with the nature of reality, and she's already been proven by quantum mechanics. So all that came up, we discussed in depth. And then the second portion we covered last night, which I think is a really amazing episode. And that we cover what is the nature of sin and the good. So that was really cool too. We get into the nitty gritty on that as well. So I think those are really, really bangers if you ask me. All right, so expanding. We had this Aries full moon the other night, and it felt almost like a new moon. How new moon is like planting seeds and starting and fresh, and it's like the beginning of the growing and expanding light. It's like I feel like that almost was the feeling behind our full moon, even though full moons are usually like the grand finale, and it's like the beginning of the dissipation of the energy, right? I don't feel that. I feel that it's like this expanding sense of our soul right? We've just had our spiritual rebirth for the year. And if we've been going through these last few weeks with intention and really trying to be devoted to true transformation and change, and we've been, present with ourselves in the process, making an effort, not even having to stick the landing. Someday I've barely passed with a C+, and I still have experienced blessings the next day. So, I think that it's encouraging, and I think that our souls really are expanding, and we are expanding into a next level of our light and our potential and our capacity. So I think that's exciting. And so as our light expands, our lives begin to expand too. So you might have new things coming into your life that are going to start influencing your experience. Oh, wow. Set that intention, because we are manifesting a new chapter, and we are the co-creators of our life, our experience. And so what are we creating from? And that was a big topic of discussion in last night's Secret Teachings of Jesus episode in the Gospel of Mary. So that is deep homework on this idea of, being the masters of our consciousness. So that way that we are planting seeds that we want to grow, and getting an idea of the essence of what we want from our lives going forward, what we want our lives to be like. In a way, it's like we have to keep this sort of open without an engraven image, because we don't know what the universe or God has in store. It might be way more than what we'd expect for ourselves, right? So we don't want to put limits on what we're imagining. So it's like, if we can get into the essence of how it feels, then we get really specific about the result of what we want and why we want it, without getting really obsessed over the package that it shows up in, right? So, for instance, Danielle Laporte is a spiritual, artistic person. She's a creative content creator, influencer, think tanker. And she used to make these day planners that I was obsessed with. They were the best ever. It was a partial spiritual journal and presence with the self exercises for every day. And then, you could set your intentions and write out your gratitude. But her whole thing was know your core desired feelings and know about 5 of them. In the To Be Magnetic work, Lacey Phillips' thing is what are your 5 core pillars of authenticity? What are 5 words that would describe your core authentic values? So same realm, right? But Danielle Laporte's whole thing was that if you can get really clear on your core desired feelings, then that really helps you get clarity in narrowing down what you would practically enjoy in your life. And so if you are looking for ease and simplicity, maybe having a whole bunch of different properties all over the place would not be actually fulfilling for you at all, because that's a lot of complexity, right? And not ease. It's a lot of work to keep up those properties and just to maintain the organization of them all, right? People get lost in the kind of exterior of the career, the shiny, facade of it, but they don't think about the day in and day out, what it's really going to be like. If you think about your core desired feelings and then you start breaking down the practical ins and outs of your day, do those actually match up? And then, you might be freed from something that you thought you had to pursue. And you're like, well, actually, I always kind of wanted to just have a chill catering job where I cook for a person and a couple of clients, right? And I get to do my thing on my own pace and not have someone breathing down my neck, instead of going after some major title and it's something on the outside in a corporate environment that's stagnant and sterile, and you're like, oh, why would I think that? I'm going to go cook. So Danielle Laporte helped me so much get clarity around, that was one of the things that she used. And she had like this video, or not like a video course, but it was like an audio package of like, I guess, like self-reflection prompts that helped you figure out what it is that you want to pursue. Like for people who are multi-passionate and multi-talented, sometimes they're so overwhelmed with all the options that they have that they don't know how to focus their skills and abilities and passions into something specific. And so they don't know what to pursue. Do I do this? Do I do that? I don't know. So she had this thing called Fire Starter Sessions, and it was like 16 audio tracks that were food for thought, and they would help you like narrow down like what it is, what would be the most practical thing to pursue. And she took different factors into play and had different questions you'd ask yourself. But one of the main things in narrowing that down was thinking about your core desired feelings. Now, this is great too for manifestation, because part of what generates our magnetism is our emotions, our heart, is our feeling, right? And so if you can get yourself into a state of consciousness where you can feel the feeling of already being in the comfort of the life that you want to build for yourself, right? If you want to be a writer, for instance, me and my niece-in-law, we work together and we always romanticize like the life of a writer, the one in our head where we're enjoying our process and we have the writing ritual and it's cozy. And of course in the dream, you have like a really beautiful place to be writing in with a wonderful view, but getting in that feeling of the essence of what that would be like is delicious, right? And you don't have to get too specific on the visuals, right? And I think this is helpful too if you're calling in like a partnership, a romantic partnership, or even like a business partnership, right? You might think in your mind it's this specific type of person that you're looking to call in, and you're narrowing down, and you've got blinders on to all kinds of other things that might also, float your boat, so to speak, but you wouldn't have thought because you immediately dismissed that, right? So it opens up, I think, more possibility, to give the universe more options to send towards you, and then the one that's gonna have the most authentic resonance is going to be the most compelling and attractive, right? So, yes, as we get clarity around what we want, we can give ourselves a little bit, more grace with not having to know exactly what it's going to look like and have that pressure to live up to try to like make something work, so that we have an idea that we've been victorious in getting our goal because we stuck to the plan, but rather get into the essence of what we want and to create and how it's going to feel. And that way it's like you start to feel your success before you see it. You're like, oh, my life is starting to already feel this way. I feel like I'm living in it in many ways. And I'm seeing it and feeling it take shape in an organic way, not just that it shows up ready to go, already assembled out of the box, batteries included kind of thing. Does that make sense? And I think that gives us more flow and freedom within the manifestation process, because like instead of putting together, say, an erector set with a model instructions that tells you where each piece goes, instead it's like you are feeling creative, you want to make a sculpture or a painting, and you're going completely on intuitive impulse about what feels right and what feels good and what brings you joy as you're creating, rather than trying to stick to a formula and a step-by-step plan to achieve some specific end result. One is enjoyable and sexy and the other one is not, right? Okay. Hope. This always reminds me of that Sandra Bullock movie, Hope Floats. And at the end, I think the last couple of words is like, and hope floats to the top. And I think even some butterflies fly up through the screen. But yes, this is amazing. Hope is the thing that blows gently on the embers to get the fire going again. All right. It's like without hope, you can't stoke your fires of passion to want to do anything. You know, that's why it's so vital that we never slip into despair, because despair is the loss of hope. And even though hope is not as strong as, say, certainty, it's still like the last line of defense sometimes. You know, it's the last flicker before you've fallen into despair. You know, it's like you've lost all hope. It's like certainty goes way before hope goes. Hope hangs on. It may not be the most strong and the most powerful resonance to, you know, move mountains and make, you know, and channel through instant miracles, but it's there till the bitter end, you know, and it's there in the beginning too. Hope is there before the beginning. Hope is there before the seed is planted, right? It's sort of eternal in that way. And that's why you can't let go of hope. It feels final, you know, because it's like it's there before, and it remains until the bitter end. I don't know, there's something about it that's transcendent, right? And so right now, you know, as we have this expanding light and our soul is in an expanded place, and now we need to like grow into those shoes, essentially. We need to fuel our manifestations with hope and hold on to that. And as we are holding on to that hope, the transformation, our metamorphosis, like our physically growing into this new soul through this new way to show up, our new actions, our new presence, it follows thereafter. It's like the hope is there and we're reaching into our potential, and the transformation is happening as the spiritual rebirth is becoming evident in the way that we are responding and engaging with our life in the material world. Okay, merging, right. So it's like we're merging that spiritual transformation with our physical waking body and self, right? It's not like we are feeling one way on the inside and then, you know, our life is suddenly showing something else on the outside. It's like everything that is inside is going to be made evident on the outside. I think that this coming year, it's not like people aren't going to be able to hide behind their masks anymore, because what is within will show on the outside. And it's interesting too, because my friend Alex at work, he said, he's like, Liz, I'm loving your new soul. Like it feels like you've really gotten a new soul. It's very radiant. I can tell. I was like, you notice the new soul? And he's like, I do. I noticed the new soul. I'm really digging it. I'm like, this is great. It's working. I was like, I thought I'd already smudged it. So yeah, so it's like merging into this is like buying shoes that you know you're going to grow into, like, you know, when you're still growing and you're still becoming an adult and you're going through like the adolescent puberty where you're still like in a phase where your feet are growing and they change, and then you'd have to get shoes that you would grow into, right? That's kind of like what's happening with our soul right now. It's like our soul is expanded and our life is now growing into the shoes, and we're going to fill those shoes. So I think that is really encouraging. I think that this week, I think that it was just about like keeping our hopes high, letting these spiritual revelations, you know, reshape our entire consciousness and the lens through which we perceive the world. And so our filter, we're being very aware of the what is coming in, separating our own understanding and truth from all that is coming in and at us all the time, and then being able to really consciously decide with the filter as well what is coming out of us. What seeds are we planting? What energy are we perpetuating? Because like, for instance, the other night I had a 100 A+ for the day on being in joy and declaring gratitude and being uplifted and just being like the go-getter and on the positive side. And at the very end, like I got tired and I wasn't really being mindful of myself. And it was like I started slipping into negativity, and it was like that negativity was like the only brand that I was remembered for the entire day. It was like, it ruined everything, right? So it's like this revelation of, wow, how much our presence affects everything, and how our energy and how our consciousness and how our words and our actions, they affect everything. And so learning how to kind of operate in this metaphysical reality where we're always manifesting, whether or not we realize it or not. And so the more revelation that is awakened in us, we realize like, oh my gosh, we are driving on the edge here. We're careening around these corners. We realize like the precariousness of the situation. So it's like, it becomes graver because we're like, oh my gosh, the more I understand energy and consciousness and how I am manifesting my reality, it's like we've been asleep at the wheel all this time, and we're just realizing like how dangerous and like destructive we've been. And it sort of like comes with this double-edged sword, because the better we get at manifesting, also we're better at manifesting calamity as well. We're very effective either way. So it becomes even more important that we use our instrument wisely and benevolently. All right, you all, that is all for tonight. We will be back together tomorrow for our weekly anchor message, where we will be getting our spiritual lessons and assignments for the week. All right, till then, peace.